So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 107,500 US dollars. Hey, it's like nothing happened again last night. Apparently, it's starting up again. We're stuck in the range, and the trading volume, or rather the price fluctuations, are still very, very low at the moment. And that's even though we got some really crappy numbers from the US yesterday, minus 0.5% in GDP, PCE price index at 3.5%, forecast was 3.4%. So, prices are rising. That's really not good. And this afternoon, more numbers are coming out of the US. We'll take a closer look at those in a moment as well. Let's take a look at everything calmly now. What speaks in favor of a possible pump? What speaks in favor of a possible dump? And we'll also take a look at the altcoins, because we're at, well, some special points there, let's put it that way, which we also looked at yesterday in the live stream. So if you haven't watched it yet, feel free to check out yesterday's live stream. And otherwise, I'd say definitely stay tuned until the end. Before we get started, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join in. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description, and if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we discuss here, feel free to sign up with my partner exchange, Binjix. The link for that is also down in the video description. Alright. Bitcoin at 170,500 US dollars. As you can see, hardly anything happened last night. There was another little dip down to 166,300 US dollars. But that was it. And if we look at the funding rates, they're still very, very low. Everywhere is in the negative range. That smells like short liquidations, and the heat map is showing a lot more activity again, because yesterday it was completely empty. As we can see up here, the 109,000 US dollars are still looking very tempting. To the downside, there's the 103, and then it already drops below 100,000, and those are exactly the areas that matter right now. I already mentioned it yesterday in the live stream. If we look at the daily time frame, for me personally, this high up here is important. That means, right here, the 109,000 US dollars. If we manage to get a daily close above that, everything's super duper. Yesterday, once again, we didn't even manage to get above this high here at 107,700 US dollars. We have 1 wick, 2 wicks. It could be that today, with the numbers and possibly the volatility coming in, we see a wick to the upside and then a complete crash. That's kind of in the back of my mind right now. On the one hand, that's because we have extremely low funding rates. As I said, up here there's a whole lot of liquidity according to the heat map. It doesn't have to be taken out, but it can be. And a very important point from a daily perspective. And now it's Friday. You know, on weekends there's always a bit less volume anyway, so there can be a bit more manipulation. It's quite possible that we grab this area up here, and that's also crucial for me. If we manage to get a daily close above that, it's bullish. That doesn't mean we couldn't still make this move down again for liquidity. But overall, it would still be bullish, because we would have formed a higher high, and this downward movement would only then really be off the table. That would be point number 1. Then, as I said, at 2:30 p.m. we still have some numbers coming out. PCA price index. They're expecting 2.3%. That means, currently more likely rising prices, or rather, the price index. We also have personal income, which is still relatively important, and of course, personal consumption. How is the economy doing? According to Powell and according to the Fed, the economy is doing very, very well. Important factor, so please pay attention to that. And as mentioned, here it describes the change in goods and services purchased by US consumers during the reporting period. Changes in the PCI indicate whether there is an increasing risk of inflation or whether prices are tending to go down. That's what we want to see. If this rises due to the tariffs, which is what we're currently expecting, and it's higher than the forecast, that's probably going to be an instant dump and will likely go significantly lower. Then we're talking again about prices around 103,000 US dollars for now. If that doesn't hold either, then our 94 to 88,000 US dollars come back into play. But as I said, it would actually make more sense to grab the liquidity at the top because of the funding and of course the open interest and also the heat map up there. So let's move on to the 4-hour time frame. As I said, honestly, not much is happening at the moment. There's a lot of consolidation. There's really no price action in this period, and in terms of volume, we're also completely stuck at the bottom, no matter which time frame we look at here. That just points to sideways movement. At the moment, I simply don't have any positions planned. At the top, you could consider a short position, and at the bottom, a long position. Alright. Let's move over to the altcoins, which in my opinion are much more interesting right now. Ethereum, well, it's not exactly a sideways phase. There's really nothing happening at all. We already talked about it yesterday in the live stream, that it would actually be better if we first picked up the liquidity down here before moving up. That's basically the alternative we still have. Otherwise, inefficiency almost filled, okay, but here too, there's very little movement at the moment. It's a sideways phase. It's also not the altcoin I actually wanted to focus on. Solana, what's happening there? We already have a bit of a different pattern here. So, we're going to take a look at 2 or 3 altcoins right now, because we covered them in the live stream yesterday. We saw this sell-off everywhere. Plus, we didn't manage to break above the last high. That's extremely important to me. You can see it on the 4-hour chart. Wait a second, let me zoom in a bit more here. So, you can see it here. This was the supply zone, or rather, the order block. Tapped into it once, twice, 3 times, and then down. Not really bullish. And those are exactly the factors that are still bothering me a bit with altcoins at the moment. If the factors were different, meaning, for example, with Solana, we had just closed above here, consolidated a bit, and now the sell-off was coming, that would have been absolutely bullish for me. Because then we could say, okay, we're correcting here perfectly, textbook style, down to the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. This here would be the long area for a swing trade, and from here, in the end, we would move into the altcoin season. And this pattern, that's why I pulled up apt again here. With apt, it was pretty much the same. At first, we had a struggle here the whole time, or rather, we're still struggling here. We haven't taken out this high here yet, and we haven't had this pullback yet to possibly go long here. Those are the factors that are bothering me a bit about the chart at the moment, and I think we had it somewhere else too, but it doesn't matter now. I don't have to look up every little detail now, but those are just the factors that are bothering me a bit with the altcoins at the moment. Also, yeah, Chainlink doesn't really look bullish either. Everywhere, it keeps failing at the last high and then there's this pullback again, with low volume. But I think you know what I'm getting at. If we just had a more bullish structure everywhere, with a higher high and then a pullback to the 0.5 or the golden pocket, it would be perfect and then we could start an altcoin season. So the whole thing is still a bit fragile. It's very high risk to go into long positions right now, and in terms of volume, we're pretty much at the end at the moment anyway. Think about it, and feel free to share your opinion in the comments. Later, there will be a detailed XRP update video. Yeah, gold continues to be accumulated. So we're still stuck in a downtrend at the moment. Yesterday actually looked pretty good, but right now, yeah, there's a bit more selling going on again. The only positive thing is that we have a bullish divergence here, which could possibly push us up now. We're still in a support area, but this is really the last support area we have here. After that, it probably looks pretty bad for now. 4-hour bullish divergence. If that holds, we have another chance at all-time highs. But what still limits us a bit here is simply that the dollar is at an all-time low, not exactly all-time lows, but at a very low level. We talked about this before, that 97 would be the first, well, price range. The next one would be at 96, and then at 94. I don't think we'll see 94 on the downside, but 96 is already pretty close, which would also mean that for the euro, we'll probably see 119 to 120 up here. The euro has eased off a bit for now, but the structure is still bullish and the thing will probably keep rising for the time being. I wouldn't short anything here at all, maybe look for a retracement down here, maybe even go long again, and only then consider a short up here. Of course, that also depends a bit on the PCI data. How will those turn out? And, yeah, last but not least, let's get back to the indices. DAX is slowly moving into our short scenario. If we do get in there today, I won't be going short. I just don't do Friday shorts because of the weekend. We never know what kind of price action might come in on Monday or what news might break over the weekend. Nasdaq is holding its all-time high, but again, it's the same story here. There's really no actual volume in this. Sure, we've had some nice closes, 2 nice closes in the end, but still. S&P 500 has reached its all-time high. Perfect. Now both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have hit their all-time highs. That means my correction target is slowly but surely rising, so that we get into a correction. Let's see what happens. But those were the factors I wanted to see, and now we have them. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we can go into a correction. Dow Jones, well, still has a bit to go, but whether the Dow Jones will actually reach that now, there's still 3.5% to go. I doubt it. So you see, we're really on a nice edge right now. It doesn't matter if it's crypto, it doesn't matter if it's stocks. Everywhere, we've got our little aches and pains that could break downward at any moment. That doesn't mean we can't keep going up. You saw it too, heat map, funding rates, they clearly indicate that things could go up again. But sooner or later, this liquidation map won't work anymore. That's happened quite a few times. It was the case with the last 10% dump this week. It went down. Oh, we've still got something sitting at 108. Yeah, but those could also just be positions that are there for show. Just think about it. It doesn't mean we absolutely have to crash, but it's still on my mind. And, yeah, let's just see what happens. Otherwise, like I said, a daily or weekly close above 109,000 US dollars would be bullish as fuck. I'm telling you straight up. And if we don't make it above that, just get a wick and grab the liquidity. Then I might consider partial sales again. Otherwise, that's it from my side. I wish you all a nice, relaxing day. Enjoy the nice weather and we'll catch up later for the XRP update. Have a great day. Until then, ciao, ciao, and as always, stay crypto.